Today we're going to be going over how I installed a red dot for my laser cutter. So I have the Monport Onyx, and it's a little bit of a cheaper laser cutter, and so it's missing quite a few features. And one of the things that's missing is a little red dot, which is really helpful for when you are trying to figure out if something is lined up. So today we are going to be installing it, and let's dive in. So this is what it actually looks like. So here is the lens, and the idea is that the CO2 laser will pass right through it. This is the laser pointer, and it's going to hit the mirror, well, the lens, and then reflect forwards. And then this is the actual cable that has the power and everything. Now, before we start taking the machine apart, what we're going to want to do is take a piece of scrap wood and push it up against the lining of the machine so it's perfectly square. And then we're going to go ahead and shut the lid and everything, and fire the laser, fire a pulse, just so we make a dot where the 0, of the machine is. So if we turn the machine off, throughout the process, when we turn back on, it's going to go back that 0, position, and it should line up perfectly. So the first thing we want to do is remove this left panel. And to do that, we're going to take out this screw here and this screw down here. Now, once you've removed those two screws, getting this panel itself actually off is kind of difficult because there's two latches in there that hold it down. So what I just did was I pushed this out and then lifted up back here. And now this part lifted off and this part will lift off. Now, this is still connected back here. And you're supposed to take it off. It's a lot of hassle though. So I just kind of delicately set it down and then call it a day. We need to take this panel off. So we have to take this screw out and then these two screws down here out. Now that we have the plate off, this is what we'll see. Now this next part is gonna be a little tricky. Now the instructional video says to unscrew the board itself, but allegedly, I've tried this with another board, these green things will come out, and then you can just put your wires in and screw them from the side. Okay, you definitely can do it. You have to pull up. It's very tricky to get working. I basically have a hook, and I just hooked on to the screwed end, and my other finger, I lifted that finger, and it came out. So, do this on risk. It'll be safer just to take the screws out. Okay, I have the cable in there. I'm going to take this one out next and put the black one in there, and then I'm going to put them both back in. We have it installed. You can see we have the black wire here and the red wire here. Then next we need to push this little plug thing underneath this so it's out of the way, and we can put the cover back on. Then we'll go ahead and screw in the cover onto these two standoff screws, but not this third one. Take the snake and zip tie it to this third hole that we didn't screw in. Next, we're going to take this red dot and put it into the channel. Now, what's important is to push down on this side because we use this side to focus, or not focus, but position where the laser is at, and it's more fragile. So we're going to push it on this side to get it flush with the bottom. It's very important that it's flush with the bottom. Once it's on here, I'm going to use this Allen key, which came with the Monport Onyx. And there is 2 screws down here at the bottom that we are going to tighten so this is secure. Once these screws are in, we're going to go ahead and turn the machine on and make sure the red dot is properly aligned with the laser. So you can see the red dot right there, and we're pretty far off. What we're going to do is just kind of wiggle this a little bit until we're decently close. Don't have to be dead on. And then once we at least see the red dot, we're going to go ahead and take this housing off. And then we're going to put back our sheet of wood into about the right position. And then we're going to slowly rotate these screws until the laser is perfectly aligned with our dot. Now the key here is you can see there's these screws right here, and you're supposed to turn these. If you don't have a key, a wrench, you can use pliers, which I don't have one, so I'm gonna use pliers. And so you can, if you want to give it a try, you can. So if you like push this inwards, it's going to move it one direction. You can push these inwards, it can move another direction. So the idea is that we're going to tune these 4 nuts until it's perfectly aligned. Okay, now that the machine is pretty well zeroed in, I'm going to go ahead and put everything back together. So If you want to, it could be very good to turn the machine off and move it back and forth to make sure this cable isn't snagging. And I'll probably do that myself. And then we'll put the lid back on and then screw it back in. Now, I did notice during the check, to make sure everything was cleared, that it does bump up against this tubing right here. Now, the good thing is that this isn't really important, so I just kind of shoved it down and it ripped up the sticky tape, and then it just kind of positioned itself automatically down there again. See, now we are good to go to complete the reassembly. Once again, the easiest way to get this top back on is there's bumps, and so you basically, from the inside, push it out and then push the top down. Okay, to test, I have a square at 10-10 and a width of 10 and 10, and we're just going to do a simple line. Okay, so now if I click go to 10-10, and you can see it is slightly off. So if you want to readjust it, you can leave it like that, or if you want, you can go in and slightly tighten the screws over here if you want to try to get in a little bit better of an adjustment. In my case, that's probably about as good as it's going to get. I don't really need a pinpoint accuracy, so for me, it's good enough.